actually control the ground infrastructure that helps to make satellites work. As I mentioned, it's not always the most obvious type of approach. That your company has found something unique. When you're talking to business leaders here at Milken, what markets are opening for you? What does this mainstreaming of space mean for your company?
Yeah, well, thank you both very much for having me. It's fun to have the occasion to talk about space at a forum such as this.
Yeah.
And what we do is that networking infrastructure between Earth and space, so enabling all of the space missions that we are seeing commercialized, whether it's things like direct-to-cell applications, really expanding the telecom sector, or different national security priorities, or enthusiasm around compute and growing compute solutions from orbit, really bringing a lot of the industries that have typically been terrestrial into a more expansive architecture that goes beyond.
Bridgit, gotta ask you, because again, somebody like an Elon Musk and a lot of stuff that he is doing, whether it's Starlink, tell us how you differentiate what you guys are doing from a lot of the big players, so we understand exactly what this business is.
Yeah, and so what we're excited to solve with our company is the networking infrastructure for the industry writ large. We tend to draw comparisons to like an AWS platform, where you think about not everybody was able to have their own IT department and local data storage solutions, and so AWS opened up that solution for many more companies to grow and blossom. Think about the whole SaaS ecosystem that we've been able to see grow and expand as a result of that. And so for the space networking solution, the kind of nuts and bolts of that networking, it's not really a differentiated solution for a lot of space companies, but it consumes a lot of their time, a lot of operational overhead, complexity, and cost. And so for us, if we can do that at scale, provided as a generalized solution for the industry, then that opens up a lot of different businesses to really grow their prospects.
I just have to acknowledge what everybody's thinking watching this right now. Yes, this is the same Disney Channel. You're a Disney Channel actress. You're an award-winning
Bridgit, you have
singer-songwriter.
a bunch of fans around you. I'm going to tell you.
You'll have
it's
a
a different generation from Joe and me.
Here. So yes, this is the same Bridgit. How do you go from that world to investing your life in a space company?
You know,
you could be doing anything right now.
I think that the space industry is full of people who are just extremely passionate, curious, and I feel really grateful to have discovered that community. And I also feel grateful that the world is kind of opening up its excitement around the mainstream aspects of this industry. Think about, Artemis this year. Think about SpaceX IPO.
Is there a halo effect from Artemis on all of your businesses?
I think what it points to is that these missions are becoming possible in a way that is more mainstream. And that's really the core of our business. The core of our business is how can we take all of these ambitious missions and get them further faster by providing the infrastructure that is kind of common and serves to be a strong foundation.
Actually, the Bloomberg team back home, they know my dad was involved in the initial space race, so we kind of grew up with this, and it's really fascinating to see it move so much into the private sector and kind of away from the government. Having said that, I'm curious about who's working with you, who are your customers, who's funding you, like what's the longer term plan here?
You've got a big round of funding.
Yes, we've raised around $140 million to date, and our customer base is very intentionally broad. We want to serve the whole space industry, and so that includes government customers that require ground connectivity for solutions ranging from launch to GPS satellites that power a ton of diverse applications terrestrially, to sensing applications. And then you have real commercial industry. So we're in communications with multiple public communications companies in space that are trying to resolve their networking infrastructure.
Where are you in terms of development and deployment? And just got about 30 seconds here.
It's a really big year for Northwood. We last year was about developing our very first site, our very first operational units. This year it's about scale. So we currently have sites in multiple continents, both in Australia and the United States. We're planning to be on 8 different countries this year and producing nearly 100 antenna units. So it's going to be a very busy year.
When are you going to space?
That's what's next, right? That's what this is all about.
One of our producers, James, I think wants to go to space too. I'm just going to tell you.
We'll put them together.
He's over there.
Producer James is actually with us at Milken. I'm glad you pointed that out. Bridgit, it's wonderful to meet you and great to see you. Thank you for all of your insights.